Supreme Court of Appeal Judge President Mandisa Maya. She's said to be the second candidate to be interviewed for the role of Chief Justice. Maya has spent several years advocating for women on the judiciary and is a member of the International Association for Women Judges. For a sense of what we should expect for the day ahead, let's bring in Newzroom Afrika's contributor Dianne Hawker, live to us once again from Sandton. And Dianne, today, as is the case I guess every day, today's sort of interviews are certainly to be looked out for, especially in a context where Maya is the only woman candidate in a world where there's so much talk about transformation within the judiciary.
Yes, absolutely, Ayanda, and I think this will make today's interview probably one of the most interesting this week, particularly because Justice Maya is a member of the Judicial Service Commission, so ordinarily she sits on the panel that interviews judges, and oftentimes she's the one who's asking candidates about what they have done to either assist women lawyers and or judges, or how they view the question of judiciary, transformation of the judiciary. Now, this time around, she's the one that will likely be asked questions about what she's done at the Supreme Court of Appeal to further the causes that she's advocated for. As you mentioned, she is a member of the International Women's Association for Judges, which is an association that has a Southern and West Africa chapter, of which she is the regional director. So she's very active in that. She was actually one of the founding members of that association, and she constantly does quite a lot of work. I know a few years ago, for example, she was involved in a training program for aspirant women judges, because one of the issues that came up was that there were often women judges or potential women judges who were interviewed, but they didn't have the kind of experience that their male counterparts had. And then that program was put into place to help assist those who wanted to join the bench who were women to actually get better experience, to have a better understanding of how things work, and also just to improve the exposure to different types of legal issues, because oftentimes women lawyers are kind of kept in one corner. They don't get a lot of work in the criminal perspective, or even in the commercial law perspective, and that's often seen as a disadvantage when they come to interviews. Now, just looking at Justice Maya's career, you'll note that she's actually been a judge for over 20 years now. She started off as a High Court judge, in the early 2000s, and has risen through the ranks, joining the Supreme Court of Appeal, also acting at the Constitutional Court in 2012. So she will have had some experience having been at the Constitutional Court, but of course this will be contrasted with someone like Justice Madlanga or Justice Zondo, who are actually current members of the Constitutional Court. Back to you, Ayanda.
Yeah, and of course, Dianne, there's questions around this issue you and I have ventilated before, and that is the limit one would have to be in the Constitutional Court. Many might say, I think, Justice Maya has an advantage when it comes to that.
Yes, absolutely, Ayanda. And it's one of the things that Justice Madlanga found himself answering over and over again to justify why someone with only 3 years and 6 months left in his term should be elected or recommended as the new Chief Justice, when there are other candidates like Justice Maya who would actually be able to serve a full term at the Constitutional Court. Now, that term limit is a constitutional limit, so it's not something that can simply be changed by a directive from the Department of Justice. It would require an actual change to the Constitution, and that's why the Judicial Service Commission is at pains to really go over this issue, because stability is one of the issues that has been identified as something that's quite important for the judiciary. The former Chief Justice, was in that position for several years, and it did give quite a lot of consistency in terms of the administrative aspects of the judiciary there, Ayanda. And also if one considers as well that, there are also new members coming to join the Constitutional Court, 2 new members who were added last year, and another 2 vacancies which will be interviewed for in April. One would definitely want a Chief Justice who would be able to stay with this new group for a length of time and kind of ensure that the culture of the Constitutional Court itself is built up as a strong culture, and that the court is seen as independent and delivering consistent judgments which are also issued timeously.
Absolutely. Well, Dianne, if yesterday's question and answer session is anything to go by, you have quite the long day ahead, so we'll have plenty of opportunities to chat. For now, thanks very much indeed. Dianne Hawker, live to us there from Sandton.